What makes specifically like a summer horror movie to you?
Uh, Traverse City, Michigan, man.
Dad, Mom's being weird.
I'm here with the Pierce brothers, Brett and Drew Pierce, the writers and directors of The Wretched, the #1 box office film in America for 5 weeks now, first film to do that since Black Panther. A very unusual set of circumstances led to this, with the big studio movies getting pulled and leaving this vacuum for indies to move into. But what do you think it is about The Wretched that's been resonating so much?
I think we kind of unintentionally made like the perfect drive-in movie because it's got a little bit of a throwback quality, and drive-ins historically, they were a big sort of hot spot for like creature features and old-fashioned sort of horror movies, and we just happen to have that kind of movie. It's a fun roller coaster sort of creepy witch movie, and I think that's just kind of a good escape for people to go see right now. I think word of mouth has really helped us because when people went to the drive-in, they had a really good time, and they just went and told other people, like, guess what? Drive-ins are open. There's this good time to be had right now when things are a little dark. You should go check it out.
Did you guys, or IFC Midnight, did you have this kind of strategy to recreate this experience going into this at all, or did it just kind of happen?
The initial plan was we would come out on video on demand, VOD, and like 10 or 12 theaters across the US on May 1st. But the pandemic hit, and we just assumed, it's a bummer, but we won't be able to come out in theaters, but completely understandable. We want people to be safe. And we were just going to come out on video on demand. But then IFC said, guess what, guys? There's like these 10 or 12 drive-ins we want to try to put it into, and just see how it goes. And again, we were like, oh, that's cool. That's kind of a fun throwback, fun night for us to have. And probably just be for a week or two. And then it just like, week one hit and the movie did really well. And a lot of people packed the theaters that we had booked. And then the second week, they're like, hey, let's put it in like 2021. They all got packed. And then they're like, hey, let's put it in 45. They all got packed, and it keeps growing. So
yeah, if you build
it's
it, they
all
will
unexpected.
come.
I saw you said in a recent interview that you kind of wanted to make the perfect summer horror movie with The Wretched. So what makes specifically like a summer horror movie to you?
Traverse City, Michigan, man. Up in Northport, Michigan, man.
we love a movie that just is in like and this is something we were excited about, is like an idyllic location where you almost want to go on vacation in that movie. And one of the things about horror movies in general is a lot of times you don't really want to spend your night there. It's like a creepy house that you would never want to even walk inside. And with this movie, we were like, let's set it in like a vacation town and make it feel like a vacation and let you settle in with the characters for a minute so you care when things sort of go the wrong way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we love the idea of like tying it to nature. So that's why we kind of decided to go with this like deer iconography symbol, and the idea that, we went with a dark witch, but we like the idea that whenever she's nearby, she makes things wilt.
Yeah.
There's a close tie in all the myths of like witches to
nature. Yeah, almost like evil Mother Nature.
And setting it in Traverse City and shooting it in Traverse City, I know you're Michigan guys, you grew up here. How much did it really draw from like your lives?
At the end of the day, you always realize after you make a film that every piece of it is just a reflection of yourself. It's like therapy for the filmmaker. But yeah, I mean, that location, that's where we would go camping and tell scary stories and had lots of experiences.
Yeah, well, I mean, like
chased after girls, all of the things that Ben's going through. And
yeah.
we have this sort of amazingly positive, awesome dad. But things were always a little complicated because our parents are divorced, and we kind of know exactly what it felt like to live in those shoes. And it's a little complicated. And how do you balance both parents? And there's a lot of those elements. And I was a new dad right as we were writing this movie and planning to shoot it. And a lot of the horror dealing with like, what if my child was, something bad happened to them is what it is.
I was just taking it as he wanted to feed his children to witches. So I think that's another element of why people are like, the word of mouth is happening, is because there's more to this movie than just jump scares.
So where can people see The Wretched now?
It's currently playing in drive-ins, specifically in Michigan right now. It's playing at the Capri Drive-In in Coldwater, and it's playing at
The Ford
It's in Flint. Is it US 23 Drive-In? If you're at home, you can watch it on VOD. We're on all VOD services, like through your cable too and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Well, Brett, Drew, thanks a lot.
Listen to Mommy. Do as I say, Dylan.
Hey, don't dip out on me like that. It freaks me out. Come on.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.